Well, welcome back, everybody. We're here for, I believe it's day 5 of our world tour, leaving from Skagway and Alaska, Papa Alpha Golf Yankee, and Yakutat. I think that's how you pronounce it. Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha. It's not going to be too long of a flight. I think probably a bit shorter than some of the other ones we've done. But we're probably going to squeeze in a second leg today, if time permits. So right now, we are going to load in. We're already on the ramp, GA parking, and we're going to run through our checklist. Let's do a quick walk around. See those inertial separators in there. Tires, landing gear look good. Be cool if we could sump the fuel tanks, or if you had something sitting on a ramp for a long time somewhere, kind of a state-saving thing where you get some water in the tanks, like actually happens in the real world. But that's asking a lot, I'm sure. All right. Let's go on and get in. Not sure where the click spot is here. Do not push. This is a cool pedal. When the plane's in flight, it actually retracts this little piece up under here. Keyboard shortcut might have to do. I'll just do that. Alright, here we are in the cockpit. Or flight deck. Whatever it may be. I don't know. I've always referred to it as a cockpit. Alright. Remove those control locks. Everything looks how it should be. Let's get those in the cutoff. Flight idle. Alright. Hee little test button. Alright, so let's get our checklist going here. This is the flight I've planned. Actually, let's have a closer look at that first. So, these are GPS waypoints or coordinates, because I've plotted out. We're gonna take off here. Get a little down the, I guess the river, or I guess it's not really a river. It's the end of the river where it joins the ocean, and then we're gonna snake through some of the mountains here, keeping a bit lower level. I've planned for 8,000, but we may go lower just to check out the scenery and see what it's like. There is a bit of cloud cover today. Right now, it is indicating that our departure airport is IFR conditions, and I'm assuming that is simply just visually having a look. I'm guessing it's based upon the cloud level. But let's go through our checklist. Pre-flight's done. Control locks removed. Seats, belts, cabin doors latched. Actually, let's not skip over like we know we're going to do later. That's when you make mistakes. Is the door closed? Let's have a look. It is not. Not sure where the click spot is for... Oh, is that it? Yes, it is. There it is. Alright. Good stuff. Cabin door is closed. Parking brake. Let's get that out of the way. Parking brake is set. Landing gear is down. Electronic switches are all off. Oxygen pressure. We're good there. Engine avionics switches are off. Pressure. Circuit breakers are indeed all in. Supplemental air is pushed in. Cabin pressure shutoffs are pushed in. Alternate static is caged into the normal position. CO detector. Test and good. Environmental mode is indeed off. Flaps are up. Power levers are flight idle. Propellers are in high RPM. Condition levers are cut off. Trims are centered. Centered and centered. Fuel selectors are both on. Pre-flight cockpit checklist is complete. Let's get the engines going here. Beacon light coming on. Battery master also coming on. Fuel quantity 6361. I think we're going to add a bit more for that. But quantity is currently checked. Annunciators checked. Battery selectors on 1. 25, 25. Need minimum 23. Go battery 2. Same condition. Battery selector 2 both. Left ignition. We're going to look for a draw. So left ignition. I believe it's auto then on. Yep. So we're going to go auto. Then on. Right ignition. To auto. On. Wing pumps. We're also going to check for a drop. So I'm going to do both at the same time. Both meaning wing pump and aux pump on each side. So wing pump on the left hand side, we see a 0.1 voltage drop. Off, we're back, 0.1. Auxiliary, we also see a drop. Same thing. Right side, 0.1. And aux, 0.1. So wing pumps are checked and appear to be how they should be. Engine start. Easy peasy, right starter to on. Look for 15%. Minimum 15 volts. Gas generator at 50%. And we introduce fuel. There it is. And we've got a start. 8:15 is the peak. Which is below our minimum of 1090. Get that starter off. Generator on. Generator's coming on. You see instruments begin to uncage. Let's get our master. Cautions those guys off. Alright. I'm going to go ignition to off. Instruments checked. All looking good there. Right generator's on. Battery. So generator load. Generator load. I've never seen it spike, but we're at 20. So that's good. Bus volts are 28 and 5. Battery is below 120. We've got a good start. Let's go left. Left starter on. Duplicate the procedure. Looking for 15% NG. 14, 15, and there it is. Fuel's coming in. 811, below our 1090 maximum. Bus volts are good, below above 15. Condition levers run, less than 1090. Left starter off at 52%. Generators on, left ignition to off. Engine instruments. Left engine start to stabilize. Right is stable. Generator is on. Below 60 indeed. Bus volts 28 and 5. And we have a battery temperature below 140 on the left-hand side. Engine started. There they are. Spinning. Alright, let's go through after start. We're going to get some more lights on here. Taxi lights. Nav lights. Weather radar into standby. Avionics. Let's get those on. Avionics master. Inverter. There we go. Inverter fail annunciator is out. Cabin temperature as required. It's chilly here, so let's get some heat on. Cabin temperature mode is desired. Parking place. We're going to do those as we head for our run up. But before we do that, let's have a look at alright, estimated takeoff 287 pounds, payload, we're going with 0. It's just me. Total fuel, taxi fuel 10 pounds, trip fuel 258, 13 pounds. Block fuels 287. Let's see, what do we got? Fuel, plenty. Double the fuel we need, and we're not going to worry about it then. Okay. Bring back our checklist here. Let's taxi to
Papa Alpha Golf Yankee traffic. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray is taxiing to runway 2. Papa Alpha Golf Yankee.
one more check here. Let's check our engines. Okay, I want these on. And I'm also going to open up my oil doors because my oil temperature is increasing significantly. And we do not want oil to get too hot. Alright. Drop that parking brake coming off. Brakes are working. Huh. It's doing that thing again. Interesting. Okay. Let's... Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. See if that makes a difference. There we go. Cool. All right. Just had the incorrect controls there. Well, we're going to assume that he's moving. So park brake's on. And it's coming off. Do a run up right here. There's nobody behind me, so I'm alright with that. Annunciators. Test and check. I'm going to do my fire right here as well. Remote compass is correctly slaved. Fuel selectors. I'm not going to mess with the crossfeed. Wing pumps. We're going on. Power levers. 2500. I'm going to hold the brakes too. should say 2050, not 2500. That would be a real problem. Somewhere right around there. Left prop governor tests. We see a drop. And let's test the right. On the right, we see the drop as well. Power levers, this is 2 steps, so we're going to 2190. Somewhere around there. We're going to test both those props. Good. Already done that. So let's go for a left generator test. Left gen should make the right pick up the load. There it is. 0 and 60. Same thing right. 0 and 58. Good stuff. Power levers to idle. Oil doors are already open. Ice deflectors are already on. Instrument air. Good. Cockpit windows closed. Cabin altitude. Field elevation. We're gonna initial altitude at 8,000 right now. What is our field elevation? I believe PAG 36 feet. So darn near 0. Somewhere right around there. Okay. Cabin differential 0. Let's do a quick test here. And cab pressure's dropping. Good. Cabin pressure modes and our stores both on, both on. They indeed are. Ice deflectors as required. We're going to leave them on. Prop heat, we're going to leave off for right now. Windshield off. But we are going to get our fuel. Hey, get out of there. Alright. Fuel vents coming on. Pilots coming on. Give it a boot test just to make sure. And we'll be good. We're going to go pitch trim to on. Fuel selectors left in the same position. Pitch trim for pitch trim power is on. Yep. Electrical trim test. Oh, wrong one. And it is working. Okay. Autopilot test. Good. Heading bug. 30-degree auto. We're not going to go through all these. Flaps are up. We want them in our takeoff position. There we go. They're coming down. Windows are closed. Cabin doors closed. No annunciator. Ignitions as required. Flight controls. Ignitions are on. Auto. Flight control screen clicked. Altimeter set. Departure altitude set. Let's get our heading set. What's our takeoff runway here? Runway 2. Which way do we want to spin it? Somewhere there, right? Brain not working, but yes. Cool, cool. Alright. Rotating set, panel lights, dim for takeoff, parking brake, release. We're going to go to in-flight. We're going to pull up our before takeoff. And just do them here. Oil temperature good. Battery below 120. Where is it? There it is, yep. And we're good. Air conditioning, we're going to go off for takeoff. Lighting is required. I'm going to put my landing lights on just because. Transponder. Get it on. To alt mode. Interesting. Never likes to hold that. But if I do it from here, VFR, go. Let's bring our map. Let's bring up our flight plan. And it didn't load in. Look at that. Interesting. It is down here, though. Sort of. Let's try that again. Well, maybe we're going to hand fly this. We're going at 080. No, that's all right. I guess we're doing a true VFR today. All right, we're gonna announce our takeoff. We're gonna depart to the north. Do they not have that? Well, actually, we're gonna select a different runway because I do not want. That makes more sense. We're gonna depart straight out.
Papa Alpha Golf Yankee traffic. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray. Taking off runway 20. Straight out departure. Papa Alpha Golf Yankee.
All right. Park brake release. There we go. Let's get that checklist back up there. And before we've got that, let's get the weather radar on now that we're lined up. Take off. Power levers 1260. Brakes release. Check. Less than 805. Pause rate. Flaps up. Gear up. Autopilot. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need the autopilot, but let's get to 1260. We are rolling. And we're up. Landing gear coming up. Flaps are also coming up. To anchorage center.
Anchorage Center, Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray is type Beechcraft Duke, 1 miles west of Kilo, Quebec, 7 Bravo Yankee, -0. Request flight following. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray. Anchorage Center. Squawk 6322.
6322. Oops. 6322. Enter.
Beechcraft 60 X-ray. Radar contact 2 miles southwest of Kilo, Quebec, 7 Bravo Yankee, 2100. Altimeter tree 0 tree 4. Roger. Beechcraft 60 X-ray.
Yeah. Oops. That's not. Don't mash that button. All right. Let's start making our left turn here. Definitely got the clearance above the mountains there. Coming up to our altitude, less than 1,000 feet. There we are. Blew through it a little there. Sadly, the flight plan is not quite loading the way that it should. Likely because I use GPS waypoints. Not, or rather, not even GPS waypoints, they're just coordinates. So I'm going to fly the, roughly the flight plan that I plugged in there. Since we're on top of the clouds here, do some cloud surfing. There's where we left. Start seeing some of the ground. And let's bring back our power here a little. Props to 2,000. go. Maybe we should, yeah, let's go down under the clouds. I mean, we're 1,400 feet above our planned altitude, so going down to make sense. Definitely have to come back on the power levers, though. So the plan that I made effectively followed a roadway over here, right along the right-hand side of that river down there. Let's see if we can do it 6,000. We're going to get these closed up. This oil's going to get too cold. All right. Let's go for some flying in the mountains. I don't think, maybe, perhaps, if this would be considered scud running. But hey, it's a simulator. We can get away with some stuff that we cannot otherwise get away with. Right? So we're going to follow this this river here, which there is a roadway just to the right-hand side of the river. Popping in and out of the clouds. But I am seeing some blue sky over that direction. Man, I love this plane. Get our wing pumps off. It's all gravity fed now. Anywho, flaps are up. Temperature's good. Engine seems to be happy. Weather radar says there's nothing there. Gonna get lots of these messages, I'm sure. Course to 254. But I don't want to. I'll come out right over here. And, it's bumpy.
Beechcraft 60 X-ray contact Edmonton Center on 134.15. Good day.
13415. Enter. Respond. 13415. 60 X-ray.
Beechcraft 60 X-ray.
And transfer.
Edmonton Center, Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray, 7200. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray, Edmonton Center, altimeter tree 035. Radar contact continue.
And we can start our left turn here. Plenty of clearance. Ooh, bumpy.
Beechcraft 60 X-ray, contact Anchorage Center on 133.2. Good day.
123.2, 60 X-ray.
Tree decimal 2 for Beechcraft 60 X-ray. Anchorage Center, Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray, 8800. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray. Anchorage Center, altimeter tree 5. Radar contact continue.
Oh, why are you following that? You're in heading mode. Or you're not. There we go. Like we're gonna head somewhere over here. What else will turn off those little waypoint markers because they drive me nuts. All right, we are cruising. Might as well get some lights off. We don't need this taxi landing, but let's get those guys on. Panel lights were good. We've got no ice. Just have a look here. Fog detection, 22%. So let's get those on. We don't want to damage anything. I will drop down our power slightly. We can increase throttle to compensate. shoot through some of these clouds over here. We're gonna cut across over here, come up the water, right up in between these two peaks here. And then make a left and probably just get right back onto our magenta line once we're out of the mountains here. But I was really hoping that the weather would play a little nicer. I did check with our local actual aviation weather provider, and there's not a lot of reporting points along this route, but it was indicated that our destination airport, we are actually going to be in a VFR conditions, taking off into IFR. Sure enough, that was correct. And turns out we are freezing to death, so this is your cabin temperature warning. I got a low temperature because I skipped that checklist step, or to get the heat back on once we're in a cruise. So right now it's 2 degrees. It'd be a little chilly in here. I have a foggy breath, that's for sure. Might stay a little warm next to the window here because you got the exhaust out of the engine, but yeah. We're going to constantly get those warnings, I'm sure. And this is a fun one to watch when you're coming through the mountains. So if you do detect anything below you that gets, I guess I should say right now, see there's some updrafts. If we've got anything that's 2,500 feet below us or closer, we should see this radar altimeter come to life. I do believe. In fact, it should be alive right now, but perhaps we are just simply going too fast. It may very well have a condition where it only is effective at certain speeds. knots, true. See, this is a neat thing we can do with this as well. So, without looking down at our temperature, if we've given our true airspeed in knots with the GPS here, what we can do to figure out what the outside air temperature is. So if we know it's roughly 200 knots, spin this dial. Somewhere right around there-ish. So at 8,000 feet, we are right minus 2 or 3 degrees, which kind of jives with the outside air temperature. It looks like we picked up a new follower. Just have a look there. Hey, new viewer. Very cool. Thank you for the follow. Unfortunately, not a very exciting one today, but we're making our way over, and I think once we get over the island bridge between I guess, North America and Russia, because we're gonna hop those little islands that go along there. Actually, I wonder if I can pull it up here. Let's just get rid of this route. Alright, I think we can make our left turn now. Clear those mountains. Let's just do some maintenance here. I didn't want to fly through this without the flight plan displaying correctly, especially if we're doing it as if we're VFR but in IFR conditions, because I'm just going to end up kissing a mountain, and that does not sound like as much fun. Trying to make this at least somewhat realistic to what we might actually do. Obviously, if I'm flying this alone versus flying it with family, then I think I might be a little bit more cautious of a few things. You know, taking off IFR from a runway I don't know in an area I've never flown to before can be done. Obviously, many people do it, but you're just kind of stacking the potential problems one after the other. And that kind of idea I do not like doing. So this is going to get us, well, we're going to be able to slowly intercept our flight path. We don't want to go over here. We don't have the altitude currently. I'm sure we could, but this plane's good up to, I believe, certified up to 28,000, which we may use for some of the island hopping, just to get the best performance we can, not have to worry about fuel. But let's go back to what I was saying over here. So we're going to continue up the coast of Alaska, but then we get to these kind of like an island bridge. You can see the topography. There's actually a I guess it's kind of a bridge that connects North America to Russia. So we're going to end up kind of getting over here, but I'm going to go down from Russia. We're going to head into Japan because yeah, they've got a whole bunch of new scenery. So it should make for a pretty flight, that's for sure. I suppose we could go straight up and over. That's also a possibility. I'll have to look at more flight planning. I kind of like the little islands here, because there are islands along here that have various different little airports. So it's an easy way to hop along. Breaks up the longer flight too. Break it up into a few different legs. Let's put our autopilot on nav. So when we do finally get near that magenta line, it'll just kind of suck us right on there, and away we go. I think we can pour on some more steam here. I'm guessing somewhere right around there is going to get us to a 200 knots. Right at the red line for indicated airspeed. That'll get us, based upon our adjustment here, if our temperature hasn't changed, just over 220 knots true airspeed. And we can also see it's climbing right here. So we've got a ground speed of 203 knots. So we got a slight tailwind, giving us a little push. RPMs 2,000. I think it's nearly impossible to get these to be perfectly synced. Our NG, 101% still in the green. ITT, or 745, 742, also in the green. Our torque, we're well below our red line, and in the green. Fuel flow, 48.7, 49.2. So wonder if I can click. What does that do? See, our torque figures are on point. They're right where they should be. Sort of. I say that and it changes. Of course it does. Alright. That light can kind of trick your eyes too as you transition. If there's cloud layers above you and suddenly you have the shadow moving across the dashboard there, make you think you're turning. Always good to keep an eye on your instruments. Don't be fooled. Trust the instruments unless they give you a reason not to. One good reason, if suddenly this instrument error went to 0, you're going to have a bunch of funny stuff happening. Your attitude indicator's not going to work. Your VSI is not going to work. And then I believe we'd have to be yanking on our alternate air source. See if we can make that work. And I know this aircraft does indeed have a failures. I'm not sure if they're correctly modeled on the Xbox version. That's maybe something I'll have to check out. Maybe once we get to Japan, we can just do a few scenic flights around the area, because I want to check out the scenery since they added it there. Do kind of a tour around Japan, add a bunch of legs in there and check it out. Unfortunately, my flight plan did not import. I'm not quite sure why that happens. I think I might even have to do it a couple times. The last flight I was able to get it to import. Everything went in just the way I wanted it to. But this way, it doesn't want to recognize any of my coordinate points. So I plotted it out kind of nice. Would have been a fun little flight. Also, probably would have been better if it was VFR. IFR is not going to be a fun one to fly for trying to kind of thread the needle through these valleys and falling rivers. And so that's a bit disappointing, but that'll be all right. Actually, we can. Why don't we just remove these? Takes a minute to do them, but that's all right. We got time here. We're just cruising. Probably not going to do as many late night flights now, given that my wife, she just got back from her work trip to London, so I actually do like hanging out with her. So I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. So in the evenings, probably hang out for a bit because I miss my wife. But we got some time open during the day. We can make something work. Might have to be slightly shorter flights. Oh, look at all this snow. Look for those polar bears, right? Let's have a look from the outside. Snow White in the Beechcraft Duke. those polar bears. So much snow. Altimeter. Yeah, 91 nautical miles to go. So we've got, looks like we've lost our tailwind. We got a ground speed of 200, an airspeed, indicated airspeed of 200. True airspeed's 219. It's adjusting for the air pressure and all that kind of stuff. Ambient air pressure, air temperature gives you a true airspeed. So 219 knots is what we're going through the air at. Wow. Never flown up here before. I mean, commercial airlines I sure have, but you're so high up, anything you see, you're lucky to see anything, honestly. Just a big blanket of white, but from this altitude, looks cool. This almost looks like kind of a glacier run here, like something came through. I know where I did a lot of my real-world flight training, there was a mountain pass that had a glacier that went through there. You could fly right up to it. The glacier's still there, but it is definitely melting. But it's sure pretty. Nice, bright blue ice wedged in between two mountains. Be a neat place to hike up to in the summertime, I think, but heck of a hike, because it's definitely off the beaten path. So we're slowly gonna intercept our flight plan. I'm thinking we may want to come up through here slightly. That was my initial plan. Right up and through here and intercept. So let's do that. I don't really want to climb. I kind of like being lower here. I like seeing what's going on down here. I almost feel like this little Duke, you can kind of do whatever you want in it. You can get up high, you can go fast, you can stay down low. Check out the scenery. Get into, I think Blacksquare's got it listed on the sim brief for minimum 1,700 foot runways. Fully loaded, full fuel, full passengers, maximum takeoff weight. This plane will get up and over a 50-foot obstacle in less than 1,700, I believe it was. That's really impressive. And if you're not full fuel, or if you just single pilot operating, then man, this thing's like a rocket ship. I feel like first time flying it, you could almost point the nose right at the sky, and it kept climbing, kind of hanging on its props. But going from some slower GA aircraft, was it the BK-160, the Black Blackwing, I think it was. I was enjoying that guy earlier. Little you know, two-seat ultralight. Um, I guess actually experimental, not an ultralight. But with the new mosaic rules happening in North America with the FAA, it means that, you know, more complex planes like that will be able to be flown by sport pilot certified people, which is really cool. It makes aviation more accessible, and then having that whole thing, you're really going to drive aircraft production. Because if you look at all the big aircraft manufacturers, you know, when's the last time Cessna came out with a, you know, clean sheet designed general aviation plane? I mean, they're still making 172s, and those have been around for decades, since I think it's around the 50s was the first 172 design, and big boom through the 60s, late 60s, 70s. So many of those are around, but they're still making 172s with next to no changes. I mean, you've got avionics. The cabin's been better appointed. You know, you've got Garmin avionics, but the fundamentals of the plane are still the same. Still very old engine designs in there. So it's nice to see the experimental and ultralight side of things where they're able to have a bit more flexibility. Lots of these Rotax, you know, 914, 915, 916s, turbocharged 4 cylinders with exceptional performance, especially in these smaller aircraft. And the price points on all that stuff is so much better, so much better than you find with, you know, certified GA planes like a 172 or a Bonanza, G36 Bonanzas. It's really cool. I like to see it. I mean, certain aircraft, I think Bristol RG is one personally I'd absolutely love to own that little plane. My daughter's shown a lot of interest in going flying, so I have wanted to get something like that because, you know, flying in a Duke or a twin engine, anything, the operating cost per hour is quite up there if all you're doing is going out and practicing or checking out the scenery or going for that. Well, it used to be $100 hamburger. Now I think it's around 300 with inflation and fuel prices. But, you know, either way, $300 to spend time with my kid is that's well worth it in my opinion. And my son, I told him, you know, you get to travel a lot as a pilot. So okay, I want to do that. He's 8, so he's got a lot of time to figure it out. But right now it's Transformers, Pokemon, or Pokemon Transformers, which he's got a sketchbook full of them. Checking out all the stuff he does. He's been building Lego. Lego, and he wanted to have some new Transformers, but we couldn't find any at the local toy store.
X-ray.
What's
Contact
this?
Anchorage Center on 119.0. Good day.
60 X-ray 190.
For Beechcraft 60 X-ray.
Good day.
Anchorage Center, Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray, 8000. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray. Anchorage Center, altimeter tree 0 tree, 5. Radar contact, continue.
Nice. All right. Everything's happening. But as I was saying, with my son, he's been into Transformers really heavy lately, and he'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you know, I like to sleep in sometimes, so he'll head downstairs and grab his big bucket of Lego, and we'll get down there, you know, 7 a.m. and he's got a full-fledged Transformer built, not just, you know, he is either the transform state or the non-transform state. He ends up having it so that you can actually transform the Lego Transformers that he's made. They're pretty complex. So I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't be a pilot. He's got he's got a big brain. He wants to build robots too. So maybe something in engineering or all that kind of stuff. I think he'd love the idea of AI and adding all that kind of cool integration. AI can do a lot of cool stuff. I've actually been looking around to see if there's a flight planner, particularly for sim, but real world would be cool to use AI to figure out what kind of flight plan you want to do. So, you know, you tell it, hey, I want to do a world tour, and it plots it out for you. I guess I could use check out ChatGPT, see if it can come up with some interesting flight plans for me. Maybe that'll be what I'll let decide which direction we go for heading over to Russia. This is why I really want to get to a PC or the Xbox. Look at that. You've got those weird solid lines through the ground. It's 24 degrees in here. Absolutely freezing out there. 219. Yeah. Still roughly -2 air temperature outside. I think next time I want to play with this here. I also want to learn the engine trend monitor. Not sure what I'll learn from it, but just how it works. Love knowing the same thing with this. This is basically just a trip computer. So figuring out, you know, your fuel quantity, your speed, your heading, all that stuff, and telling you if you basically if you're going to make it. De-ice boots. No, batteries are fine. Cabin altitude. We are fine. Fuel. We got some. It's nice. Instruments are still in the green. And then we got to figure out so top of descent here. Arrival. 46 feet. 1,100 feet from 8,000 feet. So we gotta do some brain math. So we're gonna be right up there till 8,000 feet. We want to be at 1,100. We're going to be at 200 knots at our initial descent. We want to be at, let's say, 170 on a 3-degree glide slope. Yeah, with 3-degree glide slope, we want to come out at 180. So roughly vertical speed of 1,000 feet a minute. Our top of descent should be roughly 24 nautical miles away from the airport. So, yeah, but I want to give a little leeway. Oh, picked up some tailwind. or just a gust. Yeah, so 24 nautical miles out is our top of descent, but let's push that to 25, give us a little bit of a buffer. So 25 nautical miles out, we're going to start a descent, roughly 1,000 feet a minute. That way, by the time we get to the airport, we're going to be sitting at roughly 1,100 feet of altitude, which is 50 feet above the, I guess, the technical pattern altitude at the airport we're going to, which is Yakutat. Yakutat? Man, I'm bad at pronouncing the things. It's great. But we're giving a VFR. You see the clouds are starting to go away. 4 knots, 50 degrees. That's, I think we're certified up to 25 in this plane. Plenty of visibility. Current air pressure 1026 hectopascals. So just a little different from here. But we're looking at by noon, we're getting some clouds. Just going with a limited IFR. So as it sits right now, we're 2 hours out from when they're anticipating they're going to lose VFR. So it looks like runway 02. Looks like there's somebody out there. No charts. Well, I could have sworn there were, but that may be only the online EFB. Let's have a look. Indeed. No. 02. Approaches. RNAV 02 airport. Let's see. Does it show up on our knee board here? Let's see if I'm going to modify the route in here. Roughly 10 nautical miles away from our descent. I think when we get to that point, we're going to reach out and see if we can get landing on runway 02. Now, let's see if we can do this. Import from web. Let's go here. Now, do we have any clip charts? Save charts? Nope. It's too bad. It's alright though. And we are currently on nav. What do we have over here? We got a friend. See if we can figure out who that is. Nope. I don't know. That's all right. 27. So we're going to go for 1100. Let's get our radio panel up here. Like that. Automated weather. I believe we're
Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha automated weather observation 1800 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition 3500 scattered 5000 scattered. Temperature 6C dew point. Foresee altimeter 3032. Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha automated weather observation 1800 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition 3500 scattered 5000 scattered.
okay. Runway 2. Full stop landing. We're not going to bother announcing our position just yet. Still a ways out. We're going to switch this up. Runway 02. Let's do a VFR pattern. That's that. That makes me happier. Oh, went silent on the radios. Interesting. Can we see that runway out there yet? I believe we're right over here. And I believe runway 20, right there. That's what we're going to be aiming for. $3,900, 10 nautical miles out, 1,100 feet. Estimated it's still getting, oh, that's, without the vertical speed hold in this, it is a little more difficult to manage your descents. You got to do a little bit of brain math. Rule of thumb is easy to do. Altitude you're at minus the altitude you want to be at. A little bit of multiplication, a little bit of division. You want 3-degree glide slope, which is what we're on right now. I was aiming for 180 knot descent speed, or what I want to come out at the bottom at around 180. I said to arrive at the destination, we're going to start a descent 1,100 or 1,000 feet a minute from 24 and change miles away. So I shortened it. I want to be at altitude just slightly before we get to the airport, which should be exactly what we're doing right now. Feels good. The yellow. We're going to go props full forward. Just about at altitude. Let's get airport up here. We're going to announce our position.
Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha traffic. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray. 5 miles east, 1700, inbound to land, runway 2. Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha.
We're going to autopilot off. Roughly where we need to be. Let's go a little wide on the crosswind. Gives a little bit of turn in space. 140 knots. Let's check everything here. Alright. We are on the downwind.
Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha traffic. Beechcraft November
Let's get some.
6060 X-ray.
Let's get the landing gear out. We're below 174. Trim for that. Get a notch of flaps in. We're gonna trim for that too. 1100. Slow to 120. Our approach speed, we're gonna want right around 100. So we're gonna make our base turn right as we're getting over top of the beach here. We're gonna master caution for. No, we're all right. Do want those on, those closed. Good there. Good there. All looking good. Alright, let's make our base turn. Let's get our last notch of flaps in. Trim. Let's make our final. Keep it above. That was a little tight, but very, very displaced threshold here. And we're on final.
Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha traffic. Beechcraft November 6060 X-ray is on final. Runway 2 to land. Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha.
Idle. Look at the end of the runway. There we go. Let's get our reversers in there. Let's get off the runway here. Should have had our landing lights, taxi lights on, although daytime operations, not such a big deal. We are clear of runway. Announce clear of runway. Oops. We're going to park up, where do we want to park today? Kind of wherever we want here. Let's get that weather radar off so we don't make anybody glow. I think we're going to park right up over here. Go. All right. Parking brake is set. We are on the ground. Let's go flaps up. We're going to go heat off. Oil doors are going to open. Cool off a bit. Wing pumps are going to go on. Actually, I should not be trying to do this from memory. Let's do this from draft landing. We're going to go with our ignitions off. Oils, doors. Cool down a sec. We'll close those. Flaps are up. Cabin's depressurized. Let's hit the dump switch. Make sure there's no pressurization. Weather's off. Lights as desired. Lights off. Ice protection all off. Cabin temperature as desired. Shut down. Parking brakes. Let's get the avionics off. Electrical switches off. Generators going to off. Power levers to idle. Prop levers to feather. Condition levers to cut off. Wing pumps off when NG below, I think it's 10%. So, we're going to watch here. Wing pumps are still on. NG below. There we go. Feathered. There it is. Wing pumps are off. Battery master off. Battery selector, we're going to go to 1. Parking brake released. Let's get them to put our wheel chocks in. All recovers. And let's get our control locks installed. Go. All right. Well, that concludes leg 1 for today. Might get on for another one. We'll see. But, yeah, we're now at Yakutat. That completes another flight of ours. All that stuff's installed now. Look at that. This is how the aircraft should start the flight, actually, with all of the chocks, covers, pitot covers, all that stuff. That should be how it starts. Let's just have a quick look at the in-flight EFB. So, options. We don't want to unrestrict beta because that'll turn beta on in flight, and that's scary. Show beta enunciators, that's helpful. Cloud strobe. Load with covers and chocks displayed. Do we want that on? Let's show a co-pilot from the inside, if we had one. We're not flying with one. And VATSIM. Unfortunately, we don't get to play with VATSIM. All right. Cool. Well, we're officially here. Oh, hang on. Let's go open that door. And the step is there. So you can actually step anywhere out the black and right down there. Looks like another successful flight. We made it. Hooray. Alright, well, thank you for joining me, and thank you for the subscribe. I do appreciate it. And tune in possibly a little later today for the next flight. And I'll figure out which way hopefully we're going, if we're going to go up through over the top or along the island bridge there and get over to Russia and then down to Japan. Alright, we'll catch you then. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.